All right, so get ready to dive into something pretty different this time, you guys. You sent over this album, MAAA, Make America Americana Again, by TATANKA. And I gotta say, it's got us kind of puzzled.
Yeah, definitely not your average album release, that's for sure.
AI generating an entire album about social justice, but then wrapping it all up in Americana music. It's like they're trying to invent a whole new genre or something.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Even their website is like a puzzle itself. You
Yeah.
know, like you've got all this info about the music and the different tracks, but then bam, there's this whole other layer about social activism kind of woven throughout. Like they're trying to blur the lines between art and activism.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like whiplash. You go from reading their mission statement, which sounds like it came straight out of a very specific political playbook, let's just say. And then the next thing you know, you're reading about their favorite Burning Man installation.
And that's what makes this whole deep dive so fascinating. You know, it's like, where do we even start with this?
Right.
Musically, we're talking about Americana, but they're not afraid to throw in all these other genres too.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to capture the whole sonic landscape of America in one album. But is it actually working? Are they just throwing things at the wall to see what sticks? Or is there some real method to this musical madness? What do you think?
I think it's more than just throwing genres around. Like you said, take Workers United, Hearts Ignited, for example.
Okay, yeah, that one.
It's definitely an anthem for workers' rights.
Right.
But it's not just like those old union songs, you know?
Yeah.
The lyrics are talking about algorithms, replacing jobs, the gig economy, all that stuff.
It's true.
It's like they're tapping into the anxieties of being a worker today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally. And musically, you can hear that urgency, too.
Exactly.
That driving banjo, the chorus, makes you want to get up and join a picket line.
Yeah.
But like a digital picket line for the 21st century.
Exactly. And then they switch it up completely with Unity's Dawn, Harmony's Rise.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Almost like the opposite vibe, you know?
Yeah.
It's this dreamy, almost utopian sound.
It really got stuck in my head. And not just because it sounds like a lost Paul Simon track or anything.
Right.
But they've got verses in like Hindi and Portuguese, even Tagalog.
It's true.
It's like they're trying to create this musical tapestry of a globalized world.
Yeah. And it really speaks to this idea of America as like a cultural mosaic, you know,
You like that?
where all these different voices and languages are coming together.
Right.
But they don't shy away from the challenges of that either.
Oh, yeah.
If you listen closely to the lyrics, there's these hints of cultural appropriation, the struggle to maintain your identity in that kind of melting pot.
It's subtle, but it's definitely there.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes this album so interesting, you know?
Definitely.
They're not giving you easy answers or pretending everything's perfect. They're really grappling with these complex issues, both in the music and the lyrics.
Absolutely. And then you have the Patriot Act, which is probably the darkest track on the whole album.
Oh, yeah, how so?
It's just heavy, man.
Yeah.
These minor chords, this mournful pedal steel guitar that just hangs in the air.
It's like they took that classic Americana sound and injected it with a dose of, disillusionment, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and you were talking about reclaiming the genre earlier.
Right.
This feels like they're ripping it apart at the seams, you know, exposing the hypocrisy.
Interesting.
The lyrics are like a direct critique of blind patriotism, how easy it is to manipulate people with fear and propaganda.
And they're using the term Patriot Act, ironically.
Oh, absolutely, like a warning sign.
And then just when you think you've got TATANKA all figured out, boom, they hit you with these bonus tracks.
Right. Total curveball.
Like they're saying, okay, enough with the serious stuff. Time to have some fun.
Exactly.
And what better way to have fun than to dive headfirst into the world of conspiracy theories?
Right. I mean, it's like they're just embracing the absurdity of it all.
But musically, it's actually really interesting how they use different genres to kind of amplify that satire.
Oh, totally. Like In Love in the Time of QAnon. I mean,
Yeah.
the title alone is hilarious.
I know, right?
But then they give you this like super sweet melody ukulele and all.
Yeah.
While the lyrics are all about, you know, lizard people and rigged elections.
It's so good!
It's like they're making you laugh at how ridiculous it all is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, highlighting how these beliefs can actually take hold and spread.
And speaking of ridiculous, there's California Dreamin', not part of our USA.
Oh, yeah, that one's a trip.
Which tackles the whole Kamala Harris birther thing with like a surf rock vibe.
It's so unexpected.
I know, right? It's
Yeah.
like musically it shouldn't work, but it does.
Exactly. And I think that's the point.
Yeah.
It's like they're holding up this funhouse mirror to these conspiracy theories,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
distorting them just enough so you can see how absurd they really are.
But do you think it actually works? Like, can humor really change someone's deeply held beliefs about this stuff?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
Humor can be powerful, you know? It can disarm people,
Yeah.
make them more open to hearing what you have to say.
Sure.
But it's a fine line.
Right.
You don't want to come across as condescending or like you're making light of something that's actually really serious.
And then at the very end of the album, after all the musical craziness and the satire, they hit you with this.
Yeah. What's up with that?
Langston Hughes' poem, Let America Be America Again.
I know. It's like, whoa. Talk about a total shift.
Right. It's like they're bringing us back down to earth after this wild ride.
I think it's actually a really smart move.
How so?
Well, after all that musical exploration and the social commentary, the satire, they leave us with Hughes' words.
Yeah.
Like a reminder that the fight for justice and equality in America isn't new.
Right.
It's been going on for a long time.
It's true.
And that the dream of this truly inclusive society, it's still a work in progress.
And it connects back to what you were saying earlier about reclaiming Americana, right?
Exactly.
Hughes was writing back in the 1930s.
Right.
And he was already challenging these myths, these romanticized notions of what America was supposed to be.
He was giving a voice to the people who were being left out,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
marginalized, the forgotten,
Right.
the people who were being denied the promise of the American dream.
And TATANKA by including his poem at the end of this album.
It's like they're drawing a direct line from those struggles of the past to the issues we're facing today.
Yeah, that's a good point. So where does that leave us? I mean, we've explored this album created by artificial intelligence. We've talked about social justice. We've laughed at their satire.
And we've sat with the weight of history through Hughes' words.
What's the takeaway here?
I think TATANKA is trying to make us think about what it means to be American in the 21st century.
Okay.
They're using music and technology to start a conversation, to challenge our assumptions, to make us really think critically about the world around us.
And maybe to make us laugh along the way.
Exactly. Because
Back-
sometimes laughter is the best medicine.
That's true. Well, this deep dive has certainly given us a lot to think about. The fusion of music, social justice, artificial intelligence, and satire. Who would have thought?
Right. It's a wild ride.
It really is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. It's been quite a journey.
It really has.